Well, with the growing unrest in Egypt, as well as protests in Libya and Tunisia, many analysts are now questioning just how much change the Arab Spring has brought to these countries. And as Gainey Chichigan found out, there are fears that instead of a better and brighter future, these nations may actually be sliding towards a grimmer fate.
Less than 2 years after the Egyptian people ousted the all-powerful Hosni Mubarak, Mohamed Morsi granted himself even more power than his predecessor had. With a special decree, President Morsi made sure that no court can challenge his decisions. The president's power grab brought hundreds of thousands of Egyptians onto the street with a shared sense that their aspirations were being betrayed.
Unfortunately, we replaced the corrupt regime of Mubarak with a regime that is more strict and violent.
The draft version of Egypt's new constitution inserts new Islamic references into the country's system of government and keeps in place an article defining the principles of Sharia as the main source of legislation.
When they're not in power, they have a moderate face that they put on in the United States, in Washington, with various Islamic organizations that they dominate in the U.S. But when they come into power, they put a lock grip on power and essentially establish an Islamic dictatorship.
The sense of betrayal and disappointment has not left the streets of Tunisia, the first country to witness an Arab Spring uprising. Unemployment there skyrocketed in the wake of the revolution and is now at 18%.
Our demands are the same as those that have been made during the revolution. We want jobs, development in the region, and the equitable sharing of wealth. We also demand the dismissal of the governor who has done nothing for this region but has comprised the development here.
As the Arab Spring unfolded less than 2 years ago, the Obama administration jumped on the bandwagon of the revolutions, hoping to forge better alliances with the new leaders. In Libya, the U.S. prompted the change with airstrikes and arms supplies. We've seen policymakers here in Washington trying very hard to present the Arab Spring as a success story. Up until September, Washington had the revolution in Libya checked as a foreign policy victory for President Obama. After all, the U.S. provided most of the firepower which led to the capture and the killing of Muammar Gaddafi. Only after the tragic attack on the U.S. consulate in Benghazi and the murder of the American ambassador there did Libya come back into spotlight. And the chaos that we see there now flies in the face of that success story narrative. Protests frequently disrupt operations at the main oil refinery in western Libya, while the new government in Libya has little or no control over the numerous militia groups. The civil war has left the country shredded to pieces, with radical Islamists taking advantage of the chaos. For many in the post-revolutionary North African countries, despair and violence have replaced the hopes of the Arab Spring. In Washington, I'm Gainey Chichigan.